What's
A
up?
lot going on out there.
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious, maybe not on the personal level or with names, hear more about what you were just saying off air prior to our coming on air. Because I think well, let me back up.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So, yes, what do I want to talk about today?
Yeah, what are we gonna talk about?
Anything and everything. Maybe we've been talking a lot about the past and present, so maybe we go dive into the future a little bit.
I like that
And where do
space.
you think, given the state of things today and kind of currently in the world,
Yeah,
geopolitically, personally, you know, geographically speaking, here just locally or as a nation and on the world as well.
yeah. Where do you think we're going?
Yeah, or what were you? Maybe you want to expand on or continue with sharing what you're saying. Some of the guys you were talking with were just a little frustrated. What I heard was
Yeah.
some of the guys you were talking with, some friends, peers, people you know from the past, and still communicate with, are frustrated with. This is a very brief summary of what I heard. They're just
Yeah.
frustrated with the current situation, and in particular, some of the news or things that are coming out with the Epstein,
Yeah.
with the
Well,
files. We'll just call them the
The
files.
files, yeah. Well, I think our generation in general has been frustrated for a long time. You know, and most of the guys I hang out with, I'm sure most of the guys you hang out with, I think, sometimes you're on a little bit different end of the spectrum. You might lean a little left, you might lean a little right, but most of us all have the same feelings, right? That there's just not something good going on in the world, and we're always skeptical, right? I know you are, we're skeptical,
Just question everything.
we question everything, and I think we spend a lot of time delving into a lot of the stuff that we're seeing now 25 years ago, watching some of the videos like the esoteric agenda and stuff like that. And, we watch those things and they're interesting, and we speculate, are they true, are they not true? And now that we're seeing a lot of that stuff unfold before our eyes, it's not surprising, but it is a little bit shocking that, we do have confirmation on a lot of this stuff. So part of it where it's not good is a little bit rewarding in a way, because it's like, I told you we're not crazy. Like, you know what I mean? I think so many people, look at you like, dude, you're fucking nuts, or why are you wasting your
Can
time?
you give me an example? Or give them.
I mean,
everybody.
our parents' generation, of course, they're the first ones that are. I really feel like they've done not. I don't know about intentionally, but I feel like they're always about protecting the shield, no matter what.
And when you say the shield, you mean
the flag,
the
the
name,
boomer,
the image, the identity,
the image of the country,
Okay.
the image of the country, or the religion, or the label, right? The
the
boomer
group, whatever it may be.
whatever
That group may be.
whatever it is, and I think we've talked about this multiple times on this show so far, so I don't want to get too far into making this point again, but that boomer generation, and I'm not, look, there's a lot of great qualities to the boomers. I just think they were a little bit easier to program, and our generation not so much. And I think that's why that's why we're seeing all the stuff come out right now, because our generation is now in a position of more of power, and we're really pushing it. We have a voice and a platform via social media where we can,
Yeah, I was going to say, what about technology being or playing a part of that?
Yeah. I think we're just the generation that's pushing for it so hard. And we want to see the truth, and we're fighting for the truth every day. And the truth isn't always easy, and again, I don't know that everything.
It's a jagged pill sometimes.
It is. But I think the good thing, talking about where we're going to be going in the future, I'm pessimistic about a lot of things. I think in the near future, I think you and I have talked about, which we'll probably talk about today. But I think through all the stuff we're getting ready to go through, I think we're going to wind up with a better world for probably our grandkids. I don't know about our kids. Our kids are probably going to suffer through probably another 10, 20 years of this stuff. Maybe not, but I think their kids are going to probably be raised, hopefully, in a better society, at least a more accountable society. Because I think that's the main thing is if we don't hold people accountable for these actions, they're just going to keep happening. Yeah, and honestly, I don't necessarily know that every single person has to be arrested for the things for them to be accountable, because in today's world, you're
public trial.
You're guilty by public. It's you might not be in jail, but you're still going to be behind bars, so to speak. So where do you see the world going? Flip the question. I'll give you the question because I don't think we've gotten too far into that yet. Where do you see the world going right now? I know you and I talk about this a lot.
I think I'm with you in the sense that we're at an inflection point.
Yeah.
To narrow it all down, we're at a very interesting, tumultuous, energetic period in time in history, in human history, and certainly in our lifetimes. I think I told you this, and I've said this to a number of people the last few weeks, months, that any number of headlines just here recently would have been the story of the decade in the 90s or the 80s, right? Yet everything's moving so fast and stories are so big that we're kind of becoming numb to them. And so we're being forced to process a lot of information at the same time, which sometimes doesn't allow people to go into the emotions, or if they go into the emotions, then they're missing processing other information. So anyway, that being said, I think we're at a point in time where we're at a precipice. We're going to have to kind of, shit or get off the pot, so to speak. History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. And for those that don't study history, they're doomed to repeat it. I don't know if those are true, that they seem true. And
explain that. History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme. Explain that.
Well, we don't have the same players, but we have the same actions. We have the same stories being told. And, it was Shakespeare that said, all the world's a stage.
Yeah.
And that was back in 1400 Renaissance period, 1600s maybe. I don't know my dates there, or I've forgotten them. And that doesn't matter. The point being is that this was noticed centuries ago, 400 or 500 years ago. We didn't have the technology, the connection that we have now. So maybe that was written about in Europe and it wasn't disseminated over to the Far East or down through Africa until maybe later. So, it maybe took months, years, decades to right now we're moving at a pace where information is coming at us so fast and so hard that I think, like you and I have talked about, other people out there could relate to this, that they're either themselves struggling processing it, all the information, and I'll get to why in just a second. And if they're not, and they've been maybe like us, seen some of this coming a little further down the track than others, and so we're kind of expecting it. It's not fun stuff to be right about, and not saying that I'm correct. There's a lot of things that are deeming to be true.
Yeah.
So people are struggling, losing their minds, trying to figure out what's going on, or they know other people that are, just like we were talking about before coming on air here. And I think Tim Bailu put this best in a podcast a few weeks ago that he was going. People are having to rearrange their entire worldview. And for somebody like our parents in their 70s or 80s, to realize that the level of evil or manipulation, planning, predetermination, prejudgment, all of that stuff on a scale that's really unfathomable for most people, and even myself, it's taken some time to and then there's processes. You realize this, and then you might get angry or upset, and then disoriented, disillusioned, and sad, frustrated because you don't know what to do or how you can do anything.
Yeah.
And so there's a series of, it's like a traumatic event, and yet here we are on so many different fronts, getting one crazy event after another, and it's causing people to reshape their world thinking. Pull all these actors and actresses, not just the ones in Hollywood, but people on the world stage, politicians, musicians, etc. People behind the scenes. they're having to pull them off a pedestal and put them in a proper place. And so they're having to come up with new labels and process all of this. And then I'm hearing some of them say, why am I asking the question, why am I participating in this?
Yeah.
So I think they're going to continue to see that. Then you bring in the World War III potential nuclear arms with conflict in the Middle East and South America and just everywhere. Seems to be escalating. The dollar's buying power has lost 96% of its buying power. That's on the Fed Reserve's website.
Yeah.
Just learned that the other day. People are struggling. So I think we're going into a place, this inflection point, like a bottleneck, if you will, where we've got to figure some things out. It's time to evolve as human beings, and I think we're there. I think we have the ability. So I'm a white pillar in the sense that, everything doesn't happen to us; it happens for us.
Yeah.
And the obstacle is the way. Great book, by the way, by Ryan Holiday. And here we are at a place where we're going to look back 20, 30, 50 years from now and say, oh, wow, that was, like kind of like we do now in the 60s or the Great Depression, the Roaring 20s, or the Civil War, the Revolutionary period. This is going to be like one of those moments. We're living in it. And we signed up for this before we even came into this world, so here we are. And it's causing it's a lot of big, I think, good, important conversations are going to come from it. And at the end of it, the back end of it, whether that be 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, we're gonna be on the doorstep of, or walking through the door of, the golden years of human existence and evolution.
Yeah.
I'll hear esoteric or spiritual, religious people say, this is a great awakening. It's the end of Satan's little season. Any number of those, nomenclatures, names, that they'll put on this time and period in human existence. So maybe a rocky road, as we're building this new foundation for our future. And so I'll tell you, I think with each one of these things going on in the world, these massive world events or news events, it's bringing up to the surface stuff we've pushed aside as humans, as a society, and didn't want to talk about or swept under the rug. It's made us question our leaders and who are they really leading? Whose interests do they have at heart? You look at the leaders and they don't represent us in the sense that their bank account doesn't look like mine. Yeah. Their house doesn't look like mine. They didn't go to or graduate from the same colleges that we did. Mm-hmm. And so they're in a different league than 98, 99, I don't know the exact percentage of U.S. citizens. So I see us all kind of, we're deciding on what 2.0 looks like.
The big problem is, they might be in a different league as far as status goes, but intellectually, I don't consider them in a different league. Yeah. And that's the problem that I have, and I think you have, is, our leaders, they appear on a different league. I think people put them on a pedestal like they're that much smarter than them.
They're performers.
Yeah. And
somebody once told me here recently, I don't know where it came from, it's not mine. And exactly to your point, the smartest people aren't in politics. It's just the most corruptible, mm-hmm. or the most manipulatable, if that's even a word. Mm-hmm. And, lobbyists, special interest groups, they make the laws. It's not really us. We're a republic. I've voted in every election since I've turned 18, and I'm, for the first time in my life, debating in my head whether I'm even going to ever vote again.
I'm right there with you. I think voting's a scam.
It's starting to look like that with some of the files coming out and some of the premeditated conversations going into these elections, yeah. And with whether it's left or right, it's manipulation on both sides, mm-hmm. and it's from the middle or from the top, and not the top,
yeah,
not the big top, but and so I think for the first time, I use this in a conversation with you yesterday. The first time people are looking behind the curtain and seeing the Wizard of Oz,
yeah.
Seeing the master manipulator pushing all the buttons, and the whirling Wurlitzer spinning out.
The whirling Wurlitzer, I like that.
Yeah, it's a term from the CIA director back in the 30s,
Yeah.
or right before it was the CIA, NSA, I think it was, 40s maybe. The whirling Wurlitzer, then they spin stories out.
Yeah.
And it makes, somebody brought up the point yesterday in a conversation I was listening to about the boomers and zoomers and Xennials and bridge generation, that are any of these conversations of contention showing up to keep us fighting,
100%.
to keep us busy bees,
Yeah.
instead of realizing that our differences are minuscule.
They are.
Compared to the issues
And
that are plaguing us.
They use the differences that are so minuscule.
It's like a wedge.
They use those little small topics to keep us fighting.
Divide and conquer.
It is. It's basic Psych 101 WWE psychology, and we fall for it all the time.
United we stand, divided we fall.
Yeah.
Hit me. It's been in my head.
Like if you're on social media, don't get me wrong. If you want to make a point, that's fine. But if you're making your point, and your point is, I'm going to attack all the Democrats I know within that point, or all the Republicans I know within that point, you're getting fucking played.
Mm-hmm.
You're part of the problem. And don't get me wrong, I've been roped into that shit too.
I
feel like we all have,
We all have.
But that's
And instead
part
of blaming
the
each other, let's just own it.
that's what I
Let's
say.
own it and move forward.
That's what I say.
Hey, we got ourselves here. We got ourselves here. We got to get ourselves out.
I've said, and I've done multiple videos on this. If you want to be a real rebel, right? If you want to be really, rage against the machine, all right? The key is not to fight with those on the opposite side. You almost got to flip it on them, right? You got to say, you take a liberal friend of yours, right? Or a conservative friend of yours, okay? Somebody who you probably see, on Facebook or on social media saying outlandish shit that everybody's like, oh, that dumbass
Well, and typically
Democrat.
the extremes on either side are the loudest.
So you take that person, for example. You know the person beyond social media, right? And again, I'm speaking in general terms for the public here, right? And you know that person, you're like, he's not such a bad guy. You know what I mean? Everybody hates on him because he's getting on here writing all this outlandish shit, and he's, expressing his views, which he should. That's his right in this
Freedom of
country.
speech.
And he should express those views. What I say to do is, instead of getting on and attacking this person, get on social media and be like, I know such and such. I know Joe Blow. Yeah, he's liberal, but he's a good dude. That guy's a good dude. Or I know such and such. Yeah, he's MAGA, or he's such and such, but he's a good dude too. And if we start showing love and promoting those they want us to fight against, dude, that's fucking dangerous for their system. That is dangerous.
I like that.
That's how you beat the system.
Yeah.
That's how you rage against the machine. Is you show love to who they want your opposition to be. I'll tell you, I will say this.
I like it.
I will say this. If there's one good thing that's coming out from all this Epstein stuff, I really think it's uniting the country.
It is.
Because
I see that
most
as well.
people who have been on opposite ends of the spectrum
are all come in the middle.
Yeah, rather it's the trans issue or, the ICE issue or whatever, almost every single person can agree that this shit is bad and the people who are doing all this stuff is bad, and it's bringing us together and it's uniting a lot of people. And, I'll tell you, I'm not one who goes and protest, and I might advise people to do this, but I'm not going to do it, just being, intellectually honest. But if the people who do protest and do like to agitate, man, I'm going to tell you, if both of those sides come together and they join forces and they started marching the streets, that'd be a really hard thing for the powers to be to stop. Yeah. I mean, there's only one way to stop it, and I don't know that would be. I don't know. I don't know that they would turn the military on the public. I mean, I know I didn't really want to say that on air, but I mean that would be probably the only way to stop it. And I don't know that the military would really be okay with that. I mean, if you're in the military, are you going to go attack your neighbor?
Yeah, your own people
your
for
own
protests and PDFers.
But to me, that would be the only way you could stop a force like that. I mean, and again, I'm not suggesting that we go full anarchy.
Yeah.
But something's got to be done to change the leadership, to change the culture, and to change this going forward. because it's only going to get worse.
And you don't see that happening through elections.
I don't know that it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, that's why I don't know that I do, which is why I'm questioning.
And that's the
voting
thing.
again.
I don't know that anybody can trust elections, right? So Democrats can say whatever they want about, Republicans are don't trust elections and they don't trust democracy. But the fact of the matter is, when the Republicans win, the Democrats don't trust the elections. So I don't think anybody has a level of trust.
What would happen if we just got rid of if we all stopped wearing those labels of Democrat, of Republican, of left or right? I mean, I went last year and registered as an independent because I decided that was right thing for me to do. What would happen?
So that's actually an idea that I outlined probably, I want to say, it might be 10 years ago now on Facebook, right? It was a while ago. But my idea was this. If you really wanted to control our elections, if you really want to control these things and choosing our leaders, everybody needs to basically register independent. And then there needs to be an initiative that need a challenge to the whole world we'd have to get the whole country behind this now. And it's not going to be easy, especially with how programmed people are and how tribal people are. But everybody would have to register independent, okay? Let's remove the labels. And we would have to say, we are not going to vote for anybody who is labeled Republican or Democrat. We're not going to support any business that donates money to Republicans or Democrats. That's the
What if
only
we got
way.
lobbying out of politics?
Well, that's there's
a few things I think could make some big changes. You get lobbying out of politics. You get
that could cut both ways, but yeah.
You get alcohol and big pharma off the TV commercials or anything like similar to. And other than that, let free speech reign.
Yeah, but to me, that's the only way you could really do it is that you got to hit them monetarily. You got to say, if you're a business and you donate to Republican or Democrat, either one, we're not supporting you. And then you remove the money portion from them, right?
Yeah.
So then you remove the money. That's the fuel. And once you remove the fuel, then it's like, and I'll tell you, man, if you look at it, a lot of the money is going more independent because that's where a lot of the people are tuning in as far as getting their media from. Like independent media is becoming huge, and that's why I get worried. And I've talked about it on here is how much can we start trusting independent media because
question everything.
How much are some of these people that
question us?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We should be questioning because how much are some of these broadcasters, who were once with a CNN or another, form of the legacy media, a lot of them have migrated into the independent space, and are they just wearing this, middle independence as a disguise for them to, shape our mind now? So then we really got to worry about are the powers that be infiltrating that form of media. So yes, we need to be very skeptical of our independent media too.
I'm with you.
Look, being skeptical and questioning, it's not an easy world. It's not an easy headspace to live in for a lot of people because I think people want absolutes. We talked about that before. I think people will feel comfortable with absolutes. But it's the only way you're ever going to gain, I think, real solace in the world is to say, I'm okay with not knowing and questioning everything. That's the only way I can find solace and peace, is not allowing myself to 100%, believe every single thing I'm told.
Agreed.
I don't know if that,
I got a couple thoughts here, a couple questions for you. One on the thoughts and question everything, and the other one on the follow the money and the psychology of those people in power. So as a coach and starting to study human behavior years ago, you start noticing things.
Yeah.
And people you interact with day to day, especially close family, loved ones that you know a little bit more about, and you get to see them day to day in and out of different scenarios. And also those people in power. And I think of this high school AP European teacher I had, Mr. Say, absolute power power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
I may have butchered that. I totally just did. You look at the psychology. So somebody that has power, money, and influence, pretty much anything that a lot of everyday Americans or people in the world would like themselves, at least some form of that. What drives them? What motivates them?
Ask that again. Say it again.
So if these people in power, whether it be in power of corporations in Wall Street or in Congress, Senate, or even the president, they're in power of some sort. They have money, they have influence, they have power already. What drives them?
I think it's prestige. What else influences them? What do you think it is?
I think it's more of that. Power.
More power.
More control. It's a game.
Yeah.
And it's like an addiction.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you start studying successful people, they may not be into drugs or gambling or alcohol like I was at one time, or most common, most of us muggles are. And so what do they chase? More money, more influence, and more power. More. We had a whole episode on that, right?
Yeah.
More.
Yeah.
And so when you start questioning their power, their control, their money, and we get to peer behind the veil, the grip might get a little tighter.
Yeah.
What happens when most people are threatened, their existence is threatened, they get scared. They clinch down, they tighten up. And so I think we're starting to see that. We're going to start to see that with digital surveillance in, say, Europe, under the guise of, protection of the youth, while other ways of protecting the youth are not being explored. And it's coming to a tipping point. We're seeing, protests all over the world now, from control, from, pushing down the people's will. And people are starting to see that, hey, there's two standards. There's two standards of living. There's two standards in the judiciary system. If you or I did anything in any of those files, we'd be locked up right now or dead. Locked up and then killed in prison by the people that take care of those people.
Yeah.
And yet we're barely seeing any arrests in some other countries and none in ours. And like to your point, maybe not everybody has to be arrested. Investigations need to happen. We're not even seeing investigations. Yeah. We're not even seeing investigations. Instead, we're seeing a missing reporter's mom all over the news for weeks.
That's bullshit.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. There's so many bigger stories in the world right now, and that's dominating.
My dad, and trust me, I don't want anything bad to happen to that woman at all.
No.
I mean, God bless her, God bless her family, all that stuff. Excuse me. My dad and I.
But is that affecting our lives? Her story is important. Yeah. Is it affecting our lives like other stories in the world right now?
And that's the thing you were talking about probably about 10 minutes ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, whatever it was. You mentioned this is the biggest story of our lifetime, right? Mm-hmm. And I was going to say, but it's not being covered. Mm-mm. It's not being covered.
Not by mainstream or legacy media.
The mainstream media is not covering it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's only owned by a select few.
There's no way you can have the biggest information dump and the wildest information dump with files that are like equal the size of 3 Eiffel Towers.
Yeah, we're still missing videos and footage.
Either you're really bad at journalism, or there's a reason you're not covering this shit. Mm-hmm. And I told my dad, it's funny because you talk about the Nancy Guthrie piece. I told my dad and I were together the day the Epstein or the day the files dropped. And I told my dad, I said, you watch. I said, there's going to be a crazy story that's going to pop up out of nowhere. And I'm telling you, the next morning it was like, Nancy Guthrie's mom is gone missing. I was like, told you. Because they're just, and I'm not saying, look, that would be a little bit, I don't know, I want to say unreasonable. That wouldn't be very Christ-like for me to sit there and insinuate that all that happened because of that.
History doesn't repeat,
But-
it sure does rhyme.
But come on, man. Like,
Right.
this is just a little too coincidental for this person's mom to just happen to go missing like the day the files release.
And then it's going to be the news story on all the news.
And it's been the main news story. What about the 3,000 kids that have been fucking missing every year? There's 3,000, I heard this, 3,000, or yeah,
It's in the
300,000 kids a year
If that doesn't make
go
you
missing in
sick.
it. 300,000 kids
Yeah.
a year go missing in this country.
I don't think most people
Come
like
on.
me could process that number in your head.
It's
And then think about it as a parent and your kid being one of those, or seeing the kids coming across the border with no parents
Yeah.
and just a note. Who got them there? Where are they going? It's sickening. It's gross. Tony Robbins talks about it in his documentary, in that, as well as that podcast with Stephen from Diary of a CEO, and many others. How is that not in the headlines or a major news story yet? Somebody's elderly missing mom, who, that's tragic as well, and bless her, yet how is that the headline?
yeah.
And so, we've got other things too that I'm hearing now are, whether it's the AI bubble, the housing market bubble, World War III, threat of, nukes in Iran, the economy, job reporting. We have all these big stories, things happening in the world right now, and they're hardly being covered.
It's because it's a high profile person's mother. Because like you said, it's easy to manipulate the public because the public puts certain people on a pedestal.
Yes.
So it's easy to distract people with something that's more high profile than it is like just, the guy down the street's mom went missing.
Agreed. And to your point earlier, questioning everything is uncomfortable.
It is.
Questioning the things I just brought up and the motives and the why, and understanding the truth, or at least the kernels of truth we can glean from, because we'll never know everything. And you got to get comfortable with that. I think asking a million questions and questioning everything is a lot more palatable when you understand that I'll never know everything.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And then there's some excitement in that too. Like, what can I find out? What can I discover to be true here to help me process the information and move along better, whatever better is.
If there's one thing I tell my kids, and one thing I could tell anybody who's watching this, if you're a part of any institution, I don't care what it is, religion, politics, your job, school, whatever it is, if you're part of any institution or anything that doesn't want you to question it or anything, then be very, very skeptical and be very, very careful about how much faith you put into that institution. Because when you don't want somebody to question, that means you're after, or person.
If they just say because, or can't explain why,
they are after complete control of your mind, in my opinion.
or some type of manipulation. There's 3 types of people. I think this is in a CIA handbook. There are manipulators, there are motivators, and there's everyone else.
Yep.
Motivators can be manipulated. And so understanding that there's manipulators out in the world, and this is something where how do you introduce that to your child? You've obviously gotten there with your boys. I haven't gotten there with my daughter yet, other than, when somebody treats her not the way she would want to be treated. Well, everybody handles and talks differently to each other, and that doesn't make it right, and we're going to lead by example and do the yada yada. It promotes a conversation, so maybe that's where it starts here. But on the grand scale of things, and on that subject we were just talking about, and where we started, people like our parents and some of these some younger generations too, it's like their heads are exploding with all this information. They can't process it. They don't know how to process it. They don't want to process it. They don't want it to be the way it is. They want it to be the way it was. And the way it was doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
We're going through a paradigm shift. And an evolution as a species.
The problem is it is the way it is right now, but all that was happening when it was the way it was, right? When it was the way they thought that their world that they had was, you know, this perfect image. Really, it's like, you know, almost like they're living in a Truman Show. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, and look, you know, I'm not going to sit here and bash the boomers because I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of good qualities.
Oh,
to the boomers.
yeah.
I don't think their leaders.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that.
I obviously, their leaders have failed them drastically. Not the boomers.
Yeah.
The boomers are fantastic. The people in general, but the boomer leaders, I mean, they've been in power for almost 40 years. Has the world gotten better in 40 years? I mean, except for like the 90s.
There's some younger leaders, our generation too, that are stepping up that I'm questioning right now, and I'm like, wow, I don't know about that guy.
I don't trust none of that shit, man. I don't trust none. Like even man, I don't trust any of them. Not any of them, but it's just I look at it like I think the Turning Point USA halftime battle thing opened my eyes up a lot. Mm-hmm. You know, again, I'm not bashing, you know, what they're promoting. Mm-hmm. They're promoting God, country, all that. I'm not bashing that at all.
Wholesomeness or whatever.
But to me, it's like I feel like that was just another way to divide the country as well. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm not a huge Bad Bunny fan. I don't even know. I couldn't name any of his songs. Didn't understand any of his stuff. But my thing is why would you do something you know is intentionally going to drive a wedge on a big stage where the country typically unites? You know, mm-hmm. And my thing is everybody's like, well, we wanted something more Christ-like, and I'm like, don't you think if Jesus was around, he'd just be like, man, let the bunny dude have the stage then. Mm-hmm. Let him have his time. He got selected for it. Mm-hmm. Rather he's right or wrong, rather he's promoting something that's right or wrong, you know, let him have his stage. And I think a lot of it feels to me like it's more than just doing something that's just and righteous, like promoting the Lord. To me, it felt like it was a money grab. Mm. It was a way to direct more people, get more subscribers to their coalition, which is fine, but I don't subscribe all the way to that coalition, and I don't subscribe to the Bad Bunny coalition. I'm kind of like right here. There's like, okay, some of that's good, some of that's good. You know what I mean? I don't fall in line with either one of those things, and it just felt very divisive to me. You know.
I agree 1,000% with that, and such so that I decided this is the first Super Bowl I didn't watch 1 second of.
Oh, I commend that.
I didn't watch 1 second of either halftime show.
I commend that. That's the way to be.
And it kind of came by, like, I got invited to Super Bowl parties, and just kind of came about that way, and it felt good. Like, all right, well, I don't feel like going and socializing. I don't care about either of these teams. I struggled paying attention to my fantasy football team this year. Still got third place. And I don't know that I'll pick that back up because I ask myself this all the time.
You're going to have a lot more time.
Oh, yeah. I already got back time this year. I'm like, I forgot to set my lineup. 2 weeks, 2 different weeks.
I can't do that. That's a bad addiction.
We'll go ahead. And I've got a little formula that tends to work that I don't have to put a ton of time into, but it does involve a lot of waiver wires and pickups and just trading cards.
Let's not get into that.
We won't get into that.
That's a whole nother show.
Well, and is it a distraction? So I ask myself about this. Are all these things different distractions for what's really important in life? And maybe not. You know, sometimes we need a break from things, and things are just entertainment. They can be just entertainment. I'm not knocking that. But I ask myself, and to your point about Rage Against the Machine and fighting back.
Yeah. Maurice, go ahead. Sorry.
I thought it was little dudes.
Yeah.
So to your point of Rage Against the Machine and fighting back and flipping it on them.
Yeah.
What's the easiest way to beat somebody, something at their own game?
You've said this, and I'll let you say it.
It's to not play the game at all.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And so
I love that.
I ask myself, how do I not play the game?
Yeah.
How do I play my game? Let me go in here and break the game. If life is a game, I'm going to play it by my own accord. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it is It's not
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto. There are real rules and laws here. That doesn't mean I can't do my side missions or my own mini quests or make up my own, right? So to further that thought, and I'll throw this back to you, what would that look like if we all decided not to play the game?
I mean,
Or to play it by our own rules or different rules.
I mean, if we didn't play the game at all, and
I mean, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means as a society. Like, if we stop promoting
well, I mean,
buying junk stuff or labels, we stop promoting the politicians and Hollyweird. You know, do we stop listening to anything on a label?
I think no. And you know what? That's funny you mentioned the label thing, because I've often said these influencers are doing more. They're doing more harm than good, because they're the ones that are promoting, like, you know, you got to have a Lambo.
It's all fake.
You got to have the
It's all
Nikes.
fake.
You got to have the Jordans.
They're all empty
If
and
they,
soulless.
if these influencers were really badass and were really alphas,
They wouldn't show any of it.
They would come out and they would basically promote not wearing things with labels on.
They wouldn't care.
You know what I mean? They would come out and be like, you know, don't wear this, don't wear that. They would rage against the big brands.
Yeah.
They would make it so that a smaller brand or something that it's hard to, I guess, find anything that's not branded, but like they would make it so the consumer today wouldn't be so into the bigger brands. And that would bring down a lot of people, because the influence dictates a lot of stuff. You know, the modern day.
Well, that would affect the stock market and everybody's 401ks and
it would.
and a number of things.
We're talking about, I mean, you're right. Be careful what you wish for. Yeah, I mean, but the modern day influencers, like a lot like our rappers from back in the day, they dictate what people wear, what people do, what people, how people think and what they're into. And my thing is if they came out and said tomorrow Nikes aren't cool no more, I mean, that shit could go viral in 5 seconds. And I love Nikes, so you know what I mean? That could go viral in 5 seconds. And next thing you know, people are wearing, I don't know, kangaroos, or they're wearing, whatever another brand is. And wouldn't that be better for the consumer though, if they're not spending $300 or $400 on sneakers? Wouldn't that be better for them money wise? I don't know.
So take that thought, kick the can down the road of 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
AI shows up. Elon's right. There's more robots than humans. Did you see the robot demonstration from the Chinese robotics show where they were doing kung fu the other day?
Oh yeah.
It blew my mind. That's in 1 year. 1 year's evolution from flag waving at last year's conference, robotics conference, to this year doing flips.
Yeah.
I mean, doing parkour. Police are using them in their police force now.
Yeah.
Take AI and plug it into a robot, and you've got iRobot. Kick this can down the road, 3 to 5 years. Tony Robbins on Diary of CEO crying about job loss and suffering. Nobody has a job anymore. How does anybody afford these labels?
Can't.
So
They're worthless.
yeah. So moving forward, we're in a tumultuous time. We've got all these. We're on a precipice of so many different things. Some say we're in the singularity. At that point where artificial general intelligence will surpass our general intelligence, and nobody can work anymore. Nobody needs to work anymore, or nobody can work because robots and artificial intelligence do it better, faster, cheaper, etc.
And it's coming.
And it's coming. So where are we as a society, as you and I?
You know what the real question is? How much is knowledge worth at that point?
Nothing.
And that to me is what bothers me more so about AI than anything. And there's actually a silver lining to my thought too, which is good. And I'm not trying to boost myself or anything like that, or you or anything, but you and I, we think a lot. We research a lot. We try to acquire knowledge. I have a crazy memory and a crazy way I can come up with 20 or 30 minute long speeches in my head without writing anything down. It's crazy. It's like this processor. And again, that's not me being arrogant or boosting or anything. It's just the gift I was given. It's fucking nuts, right? And I can't explain it. It's like some Rain Man shit.
You might be teeing up a point I'm going to get to.
What worries me is I was given this gift, and now you could take just anybody off the street because of AI and almost give him the same gifts that I have. Not the same. They might not have the same thoughts exactly, but you could essentially, he could have the same level of memory or the same level of thought processing and critical thinking through AI, right? And that
I disagree.
but hold on, no, I'm not done. Let me finish.
Critical thinking is totally different.
I know, but hold on.
Information.
Let me finish, because when I finish, you might agree with me. But there's one thing that I don't think AI can replicate, and that's the human creativity. And
Agreed.
I think creativity is going to be so much more valuable in the future. And imagination is going to be so much more valuable in the future, because then we're going to have to start asking questions about the AI. And to me, as a creative person, I feel like at first I was like, this is bullshit, because now anybody can produce comment or content as fast as me, or somebody can produce content who wasn't even a good producer of content because they can use AI to make it, or whatever that is. But they can't do it the same way, and it's not going to feel as as authentic, And I really think those who are creative and those with big imaginations are gonna probably get further in life than even the ones who have a lot of knowledge. Because it's like Einstein. I love Einstein. Him and I share the same birthday, so at least one of us is smart. Einstein, that is, right? But Einstein always says that imagination is greater than knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been, of that mindset. And I think, one of the things that we've talked about are kids and what we're doing to kids today, as far as I feel like we're trying to almost program the daydreamer out of them. And that scares me, because, a kid today whose mind might not be on his schoolwork, or it might be, out to lunch, so to speak, and he's not focused. What are the thoughts that are going through that child's mind, and how can those thoughts change the world? And my thing is, with this big initiative of trying to get everybody back to focusing through medicine or whatever, therapy, whatever, there's nothing wrong with either one of those things. But is there a reason we're trying to remove that imagination from those kids to get them back focused? Control. Exactly.
Control, yes.
And the only way you can battle against control is to question and be creative, have an imagination, think outside that box, and AI is going to put a lot more people in the box, but it's going to give a lot more people a lot of tools to kind of even the playing field a little bit with people who have strong processors, or at least people who would, I don't want to say that I have a strong processor or you have a strong processor. Maybe we do. We exercise our mind a lot, I guess is what I should say, to be fair, because I don't think anybody's the smartest person in the room. That's a whole nother conversation. I think the biggest bunch of bullshit that we're fed right now, especially in the business space, is you go from one room to the next room, to the next room, to the next room. Once you become the smartest person in this room, you shouldn't be in that room anymore. It's like, motherfucker, ain't nobody the smartest person in the room. And if you walk into any room,
everybody's a teacher.
If you walk into any room thinking you're the smartest person in the room, in my mind, you're the dumbest motherfucker in the room. All right? Maybe you're not dumb, but you're stupid in my mind. You are, because there's something you can learn from everybody. There's something you can learn from every single person.
Absolutely.
That, like I think I said this before on here. Even Elon Musk could be in a room and ask a janitor in the corner how to do something. And who knows? Maybe that janitor's Good Will Hunting, right? But you know what I mean? Like nobody should walk into any space assuming that they're the smartest person.
Agreed.
And the minute you do that,
it's a big fallacy to do so.
It's a huge fallacy to do so. Sorry, I get on my.
No, that was a great rant.
Get off my soapbox there for a second, but.
And I think you and I, maybe using different terms, are talking similarly about the same thing or parallel. And I think that my belief is that AI will free up some time, energy, and other processes.
Can I stop one thing real quick? I don't mean to interrupt you, but the critical thinking thing, I completely misspoke, because AI is not going to help you critical think. It's actually gonna think for you. So it's actually gonna do the opposite, in my opinion. You might be able to prompt it to help you critically think better, but
You still have to critically think. You still have to use
you
your
still have
creative
to use the
imagination.
creative magic. That's what I was trying
I
to say.
think that's the greatest gift we
So
have as humans.
I apologize for interrupting.
No. I think it's a great point. Thank you for stating that point, because I think you're right. I think that is the greatest gift that we have as humans. And so getting some of these other things out of the way, or like with farming, for example, the cotton gin, the plow, different things allowed us to level up our food production and buy back some time, so to speak, through technology, through tools. We were able to do more with less, and therefore have some disposable income because we had extra production. We could trade it, we could sell it, and we got some time back because it took us less time to plow that field, to pick the seeds out of the cotton. And so with AI now, if it frees up energy, if it frees up a bunch of processes, over 50% of coders now aren't even coding themselves. So we're not even writing the code.
Yeah.
We don't even know what they're saying in code, these LLMs. And so with that and taking that off the plate, there's going to be some upheaval, maybe some existential crisis, on a mass scale that we've never seen. And Tony was crying over that in that podcast. And I keep mentioning that because it was the first time I've heard anybody at that scale or level talk about something that you and I have talked about or touched on, or we've had conversations on the couch, et cetera, on the beach. And so in doing so, back to your point about the creative imagination, removing all those other things are going to allow more space for less. More space for us to understand our creative capacities, our free will. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, even if you put an AI in a robot, this is what I'm thinking anyway. I may be wrong, so if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments.
No. There's no right or wrong, man.
You and I have creative imagination, correct? That's a whole conversation, right?
When you're thinking, there's no right or wrong, right?
They're just labels we put on things based on our perspective.
Yeah.
And so you put an LLM, a large language model, an AI in a robot, you still need a prompt.
Yeah.
You still need somebody to program it to tell how it's going to act, think, etc. If it doesn't, does it have the creative imagination, the free will, the consciousness? And that may be the last leap or last frontier. And there are people that argue that that is the last leap. I don't know that we'll ever get there, because I think my belief structure that's spiritual.
Yeah.
And we can play God. We are, creators of some sort, and we're creating this world and these robots and these things, these likenesses like us that talk to us and think like us, but faster, better. But can they go into an analog space and imagine?
Yeah.
I was thinking this morning, and I don't know where it came from. I just, I realized there's going to be places that are analog zones, digital free spaces. I say this because there probably already are out there in the world, but as technology bombards us from every angle, every front. I mean, we got lights, we've got cameras. Even when we're not here, we've got
action.
We're walking around with these little EMF radiation machines in our pockets, putting them up to our heads. We got earbuds going in. We got Wi-Fi pinging around our house. We got TVs shooting out blue lights that aren't natural to our eyes, and we're just getting hit by our receptors. Our processors are getting hit by every angle, from every angle, by everything. How do we turn that off?
You're right. You're going to have to go somewhere where there's basically.
There's only one place I know of, and it's in West Virginia, and it's miles long. There's no microwaves allowed in this place. This is a national, federal government experiment or requirement. They have sensitive satellites and antenna in West Virginia.
Really?
And for so many miles around it in that radius, it's called a dead zone, I think, or quiet zone. Yeah, no Wi-Fi. No cell phones, no cell phone towers, no microwaves allowed in your house.
Man, that could be the future of recreation.
I see sanctuaries, I could imagine, or they're popping up. You see, I know coaches and peers alike that go to these retreats, whether they're Buddhist or Christian, they'll do silent retreats for a weekend where they check in their phone, they put everything away, or they have very limited access to those things. They'll spend hours on end in silence or just in meditation, in nature, doing things without any frequencies around. And to hear the stories and the experience on the back end of those, I think we're going to see more of that. I think.
Yeah, that's the thing is the digital age and this level of stimulation, especially that the newer generation has. Yeah, I think it's removing the thirst for natural human stimulation. I mean, look at sex.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is down like what 50% among kids.
Child production's down, marriages are down.
50%
That's
among kids.
mm-hmm.
No wonder these kids are depressed. Not having fucking sex. I mean, Jesus Christ. Because they're getting off on reels.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's that
thirsting online and looking at corn.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, it's like money shot scrolling too. It's like money shot next, money shot next, money shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
It's dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit.
Yeah, it's
dopamine
on to the
hit.
next scene, on to the next scene. You know, it's man, yeah.
It's an addiction.
It is an addiction.
They're all addictions.
Yeah.
I'd say, spend enough time with somebody, I can show you their addiction.
Real control. Because when you're talking about control, right? I've had this thought process for a long time, and I've talked about like how I've always tried to. I got to a point in my life where I tried to stay in moderation, of substances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drinking and other things, not wanting to drink every night of the week.
Too much of a good thing is rarely a good thing.
To me, that's a very much a control. I don't think it's a problem, but it's a control thing for me. Mm-hmm. Like I always say, I'm going to control the alcohol. Alcohol isn't controlling me. Mm-hmm. So I would get off on not drinking it. Because I'd be like, and I would almost get a buzz from not doing it.
It's a high.
But the only way, and it's a willpower game
mm-hmm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd wait all week long. Sorry, I don't think we're going off the rails on this, but I would wait all week long to have a drink. Most weeks I wait till Friday. Mm-hmm. Not because I don't want to have a drink on Tuesday or Wednesday, because sometimes I'm like, man, I could use a drink. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna hold out. Because the longer I hold out, the better it feels, right? It's like it's like teasing, right? The more you tease it, the better it feels when you finally,
delayed gratification.
Yeah, delayed gratification, and to me, there's a little bit of a control element to that. But that's another thing that I think this generation is lacking. The new generation, the Gen Zs, the Gen Alphas, even a good portion of the millennials, even us, to a degree, is delayed gratification. We benefited greatly from one thing: Saturday morning cartoons. Saturday morning cartoons taught us delayed gratification at a very young age. It was the best thing that we had. It was the thing I think mostly all of us look forward to. Right? I mean, I'm sure you did.
I have a different relationship with Saturday morning cartoons. It was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't as deep or as intense as some other people. So I was always playing soccer or baseball on Saturday morning.
Well, yeah, I was playing sports too, but
And as soon as the light was up, I was like, who in the neighborhood here can I go hang out with?
Yeah.
So, I might watch a couple things.
But waiting for Saturday morning cartoons was like,
I'm eating my cereal, getting ready.
I had to wait all week to get that.
Agreed. Yeah.
And so like to me,
then The Simpsons came on. That was the first weeknight cartoon.
To me, like waiting till Friday to have a martini
mm-hmm.
or old fashioned
served you.
That's kind of like my new Saturday morning cartoon. Mm-hmm. That serves me in that same way as I get that delayed gratification. Because the more you delay the gratification, the better it feels, man. Mm-hmm. People don't understand that. It's like my kids are like, why can't Christmas just be every day? I'm like, it wouldn't be any fun.
Yeah, you wouldn't enjoy it.
It wouldn't be any fun. If you have it all the time, you'd actually long for a day that's not Christmas. Mm-hmm. And to kind of get back to what you're saying here, because there was a point of where I was going, and I found the crevice in my
jug handle.
I found the crevice is
Back to the Future.
We are so much in a world of stimulation to, like you're saying, those places that are digital free, those analog spaces, man, they could become really popular, because if every second of your life is about that digital stimulation and you can go find somewhere where there's none of that mm-hmm. and none of that's allowed, man, that's like the road less traveled. That's new territory, So that's like the day without Christmas, right?
If everybody's going that way, I'm going. That's where I'm thinking.
Oh, 100%. And I do that to a fault sometimes.
Agreed.
I do that to a fault. Like
Agreed.
I have, and I think that's part of our generation. Like our pop culture was all about being independent. You know what I mean? If everybody had Airwalks, well, it was like, well, he's got the black one, I got to get this one. I want to look different. Like, think about this, and this speaks a little bit to branding, right? What was like the coolest thing back in like when we were like 13 or 14 years old? It was who could buy the cheapest shirts at Salvation Army. You remember that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I had corduroys in my thing. Salvation Army corduroys.
Yeah, it was all who could
corduroy pants.
Yeah, who could buy the most thing that, because you knew nobody else had it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was who could be the most unique, who could be the most independent. And I think there's an element to that where our generation naturally goes against the herd a little bit. We naturally say, well, the mainstream media is promoting all this. Let's look over here.
I think that might be a little bit of the Gen X that we got.
Oh, there's a
trickled down
lot.
into
Yeah,
us.
there's a lot of Gen X.
I see my Gen X friends are slightly older.
We're not as stubborn as Gen X, though. That's
Nah,
why.
yeah.
That's why we're Xennials, man. The Xennials, we're the best part of Gen X. We're more Gen X than Gen X is. I'm telling you, when you get into it,
I love
man,
them nonetheless.
We're more not give a fuck than a lot of, because the Gen Xers, I love them to death. I mean, I've always considered myself a Gen Xer,
Yeah.
really. I mean, what's what I thought we were. Like again, so they moved the timeline, which we've already talked about. So I don't want to get back on that again. But,
So back to the future here, and it being midlife, both in our lives, in this conversation, in some of our thought streams and processes, thought experiments, and in the name and nomenclature of the podcast. Moving forward, so say Elon is right, and we've got more robots than humans in a few years. Nobody's got a job. Therefore, we are at post-labor economics, or entering that phase of existence, which is new to all of us.
because he thinks we don't even need retirement money, right?
That's what
He said that the AI will be able to handle our financials to a degree where we keep producing money. So the stock market would boom in that case, right?
Yeah, and I think he believes there's some UBI there, universal basic income.
Yeah.
So if that's
Explain that for the people.
that just for existing, you get a check every month.
That's wild. How much control can you have over people
Right.
if you
Now-
control their checks without them doing it?
Right. Can you turn it off at a whim
Yeah.
if you don't like them protesting? If you don't
Yeah.
like something that they did, if their credit goes below a certain level, whatever.
And if that's the case, then does everybody live basically on the same level, the same houses, the same, everything just the same?
And how will people process that if we're going that direction?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is AI could take care of, they're saying not just our finances, but energy needs and food production, et cetera, so that everything is more efficient, costs come down, so that maybe people don't need $5,000, $6,000, $10,000, $20,000 a month to live. They only need 500.
Yeah.
You know, there are no electric bills, there are no water or sewer bills, because it's all handled by robots.
Yeah.
And AI, that there's an initial upfront cost to build it, the material cost, right? And the language, LLMs, large language models they're building. But they're building themselves now.
So
these
our
AIs are building themselves.
So our healthcare will be taken care of too, essentially.
Potentially.
And I will make a comment on that. And this comes from, I was programmed for years to think that universal healthcare is bad. That, our for-profit healthcare system has equated to us being the best healthcare in the world.
We're not.
And I don't think so.
That's a lie.
I think we're the best sick care in the world.
Yeah,
not the best healthcare.
We're not the healthiest nation. We don't have the best healthcare. We
We're
spend the
not.
most.
Yeah.
We don't have the best.
We have the best sick care, not health care. Because I looked at it the other day when I really started thinking about this. I started just breaking down. Some days I just break down all my thoughts, especially things that I've been thinking for a long time one way on. And one day I really spent a lot of time thinking about, am I wrong on universal health care? Because I think I might be. And I started looking at that. I was like, well, wait a minute. We're like, 40th in the world in health? But we're supposed to have the best health care. Then I started looking at some of the healthiest nations, and all of them have universal health care. And I'm like, well, this makes total sense, because if you are a government that has to pay for people being sick, what are you going to do? You're going to prevent them from being sick. You're going to say, no, we're not going to allow this in our food. We're not going to allow that in our food. We're going to promote
healthy living, healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. So they're
eat more of this, less of that.
They're more focused on, preemptive health, and we're more focused on, let's get you real sick, and then we got the answers. So I think we're the best at sick care, not health care. And I actually think there is something to universal health care. I really do. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get dinged up by a lot of conservatives by that statement. But I think they've just been programmed that way. And I actually think that RFK will probably start to change their mind. Because if you think about it, RFK is really into preemptive, health and to, trying to keep people from getting sick. And I think treating
the cause or the problem rather than
that mindset really jibes more with a universal healthcare model than previous politicians who have been championing for universal healthcare, but still push the same policies that lead us into a world where people are still getting as sick as possible, so we can give them the cures for their ailments, and then the cures for the cure that cured their ailment, and then the cure for the cure for the cure, and the poison for the poison for the poison, because that's all it is one big chain. But that's a whole nother conversation. But let me go back, because I got off the rails here. Go back to Elon, and you were talking about the world we're transitioning into. You're talking about AI. There was a thought there before I kind of hijacked what you were saying, and I apologize. And you were talking about where the world's going to go, what the world's going to look like.
Yeah, I lost it as well.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. It was meant to happen. I think maybe where I was going is postulating that all this stuff comes to fruition. People continue to wake up and realize some of the power structures and people in control don't have necessarily their best interest. Some of the old belief systems don't serve us, whether it be around healthcare or the food we eat, the thoughts we let into our heads, the people we let rule us and lead us, etc. AI, robots, all this thing coming to fruition in the next 2 to 5 years. Like it's
maybe not even that.
Maybe not even that. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's 10 years. I think it's probably more in the lines of 2.
Yeah.
Throw in global war, economic crisis, so many other things. Say that all comes true. Knowing what you know now from the last 40 plus years of life, this being maybe halftime and a precipice, moving forward, what knowledge are you going to take and employ? Should that all be the case? And maybe share and disseminate with your boys, with the world. Man, that's a big question.
Yeah,
that's one I'm asking myself. So it's a live fire question that I'm stewing on almost daily.
Yeah, I don't know that I can give you an answer that fast and not sound like Billy Madison at the end of Billy Madison.
No, I'll give you some raw thoughts that
we are all now dumber for having heard that.
I think being fluid and flexible in these next couple of years will pay dividends to all of us. Being open-minded, knowing that we've got each other and that we're not going through any of this alone. We can lean on each other. When one of us is struggling with a thought or processing something, and leaning on the other one or saying, hey, it's ugly, but we're going to get through it.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. And so I don't know the answer to my question. I throw it out there. It's for everybody to be thinking about. To lead by example is the easiest way to lead. So, for me, doing my best every day, and I fall short all the time, to be the change that I intend to see in the world.
Yeah.
And so that's being open-minded, questioning everything, and knowing that on the back end of this, there's maybe I'm a positive to a fault. I'm a glass half full kind of guy.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for the silver lining, and I think there is one. I think that iron sharpens iron. This stuff is going to sharpen us as a species, and it's our opportunity as a conscious soul group, as humans, to evolve.
No, I think you're spot on, and I know we talk about being open-minded a lot, but I think that's going to serve the world more than anything going forward, because the more we get into AI, the more control the powers that be probably are going to have. And being open-minded, I think, is going to help you understand more about what's real and what's not real, because we're going to have a world that is the artificial stuff's obviously going to look, and it already does, so much like the real stuff. And if you're not questioning it,
Let me add this.
Your mind could be controlled very easily. You know?
And so on that level, on that note, having compassion for each other. So like love and understanding. You know, instead of, you know, I beat the boomers up. I'll own that. I beat my mom, in some conversations. I beat the boomers up in other
We
conversations.
should change the name of the podcast to Beating Boomers Up.
Beating
Like,
Boomers
that's
Up.
terrible. I love the boomers too.
I do too.
I love the
And
boomers. Yeah, I just,
I've learned a lot from them. I'm still learning from them. And the point was, or the point I'll get back to here that I was making, or trying to make, intending to make, was if we all just didn't hang up on the past. It's water under the bridge. We have compassion, understanding, forgiveness for each other, for being blind, for not knowing better, for being caught up in the system, for saying those things. Look, we're all evolving.
Yeah.
And so if we can do that and put all that and stop the fighting and put that behind us, that allows us the freedom and flexibility and the open space and time and energy to develop new things, to be creative, to live in our hearts and love and say, hey, what's the possibilities here?
Yeah.
This shit got ugly. We let it get this way.
Yeah.
We voted these people. We bought into it. We perpetuated it. We sent it off on we retweeted it. All right, we did that.
Yeah.
So what? It's not good or bad, right?
Yeah.
It is. It got us here. And right now, this isn't fun for any of us or for the people, I'm not saying me in general.
Well,
In that instance, let's move forward.
The only way we're going to find understanding is via an open mind. Mm-hmm. That's it, And I mean, the box is designed to kill you, and the only way to escape is to think outside of it. You know what I mean? Like, so to me, like that's going to be the only way for us to find understanding. That's why I go back to the conversation we had a couple episodes ago. That's why I think philosophy is so critical to this new generation. And our kids, I mean, I look at our kids, man, like my kids, they go to school and they have the same battles we have. It's like, oh, such and such is a liberal. Oh, such and such is a conservative. Such and such likes Trump. Such and such likes Biden. And I tell I'm like, my kids almost, it's weird. Like they don't understand when I'm critical of somebody that they think that I might like. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I thought you liked this guy. I thought you liked. I'm like, I do, but I don't agree with him right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I like my friend. I don't have to agree with every point that he makes.
I don't even agree with myself every day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think people need to quit. I think people need to quit standing behind their parties and start standing on their principles more. Because some people will sacrifice their principles for their parties all day long. And the problem is you'll watch their mindsets change when the parties change. I mean, there's so many things that the Democrats do now that the Republicans did 20 years ago and vice versa. And the same people are following the same parties. I don't want to get back into politics again, but it's...
No, I think I've got something I want to, if you'll humor me and do this, I'll do it with you. I think this could be a good place to end it. Summarize.
I don't know. I'm kind of into the conversation. We had to pay for more studio time.
Yeah, we'll keep going then.
Yeah, keep going. Yeah.
All right, so back to your point of open minds and that being paramount or really important in the future.
Yeah.
I agree with you. And a visualization that was given to me at one point in time I'd like to share with you and the audience out there. So imagine it's raining $100 bills.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Let's grab them. It's raining $100 bills. Grab them with me.
Yeah.
All right?
Let's grab it. All right,
We're grabbing. It's raining $100 bills. We're grabbing them.
Yeah.
We're grabbing them. Now try to do that with closed hands. It's raining $100 bills.
Yeah.
It's like I'm punching air.
Yeah.
Now, let's imagine those $100 bills are ideas and our hands are our minds. Is it easier to grab those ideas with open hands, open minds, or
like
closed
that.
hands? And I think of that sometimes, am I being stubborn? And there's times where I am. I'm a Taurus, so it's in my nature at moments.
I'm stubborn on being open-minded. I'm open-minded to a fault. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Agreed. So I think that I'd like that. I'd like that you brought that up, that open-mindedness, I think, will serve all of us.
yeah. Well, you said it. I just was going, yeah. But
Well, maybe I don't remember saying
it's been a common theme of the podcast,
Yeah,
I think. So
yeah.
it's not like,
being open, questioning everything, staying curious,
Yeah.
not accepting anything as face value. And, you know, what's the old adage? Only believe half of what you hear. What is it?
it's
Half of what you see and none of what you hear.
Yeah.
Something like that. I may have it backwards.
Yeah, that's it. No, you're right. Yeah. So let me ask you a fun question. What fun things do you envision for the future?
Oh, man. I see so much opportunity. Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
You know, despite the world looking a little tumultuous, ugly, gray, uncertain at the moment, I see the golden era of human existence, meaning like a new renaissance, where we grow leaps and bounds in consciousness, spirituality, physically, you know, meaning we can live longer, stronger, more maybe fulfilling lives because we're doing
Yeah.
we got to find duty and purpose, right? So that's always been a human thing. I think that will come, and I think it'll evolve into something new, and it'll be more of the humanities. Maybe some of these psi abilities come online, as people are talking about, like Dr. Diane Hennessy Powell and her podcast or studies over there at Harvard. I see. So if AI can do all these things for us, then that gives us more free time. So more free time for what? Whatever you want. You know, back to our conversation of more and more and more. In that, I think I see us getting to a place that we can't even fathom right now, if that makes sense. We don't know what's around that next corner.
We might already be in the place that we can't even fathom.
Agreed. And
We could be in a tangible metaverse right now and don't realize it. Right?
we could be.
Yeah.
We could get to a place where we can view, see, and talk to or communicate with those. We might be exploring outer space way sooner than we think.
Yeah.
I see time becoming more prevalent,
Yeah.
and the arts, because of that, becoming more interesting and impassioning people.
Well, the arts are to me,
They flourished during the Renaissance. They're going to flourish again.
they're going to flourish 1,000%.
Yeah.
I mean, the arts are the one thing that transcends pretty much everything. You know, there's a reason they're called artifacts, right? Like this conversation we're having right now is going to transcend us. You know, I mean, I'm assuming this is going to be in a digital space. And that's one of the reasons, you know, I love, you know, making videos and making content is, and I think I shared this with you before, is, you know, this is kind of like my time capsule for the world. You know, it's
how you roped me in.
Yeah, it's what you're leaving, dude. Like it's what you're leaving. You know, it's like to
leave it for my daughter, my grandkids. Even just that was enough. When you said that to me, I mean, that's what got me here.
Well, if you think about it, you know,
I wasn't interested in being on camera or doing any of this really until
300 years. Okay, right now, right? You're picking up a book that was written 300 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago, 300 years ago, 100 years ago.
That person, you didn't pick up that person's dollar bill, right? You're picking up a person's word, not the money he made, the word. So your art,
his thoughts,
art is way more powerful than money. And it's like I talked about on my last podcast. The people who create art based on money, that's not going to last. It's not because there's no soul. There's no soul in that. But I don't want to go back into that. You know, it just to me doesn't have as much shelf life. Is the soul. But I will tell you one thought I had, just kind of a fun thing. I think, and it's probably already taken place now. I mean, I'm sure if I researched it, I don't think this is any kind of crazy thought to assume because I'm sure it's going on now. But I think the new digital world has made time travel possible in a sense via virtual reality, VR. Think about this. if you in the future, or again right now, but I think it's going to be more prevalent in the future. If you have a wedding or a bar mitzvah or your kid's first birthday, right? Typically, everybody is video and everything, right? I think everything's going to be shot on 360 view. So what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to take your VR goggles, because everything was shot. You know, Maurice is shooting your videography for your wedding, so to speak, right? He's going to give you your video for your wedding, right? You're going to put on your VR goggles, and you're going to be able to walk back through your event, no matter what that is, a birthday party.
It may be happening already.
I'm sure it's happening right
Yeah.
now. I mean, there's definitely people that shoot things in 360 view. This isn't, like I said, it's definitely going on. But I think that is going to give us a level of time travel, so to speak. We're not going to be able to interact with the past. We're not going to be able to actually change time and you know, that way. But conceptually, not conceptually, I guess experience-wise, it's going to feel like you're time traveling. You're going to be able to go back in the past and not interact, but be able to walk through those moments.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool to think about. And you might even walk into some stuff, maybe notice some things you didn't notice before. Because think about it, 360 view is behind you. So if you got a 360 camera on you and you're walking, you know, this way towards, you know, your bride or your groom, well, now you can turn around and be like, well, I wanted to see what, you know, old Dougie was doing over there, or Johnny, you know, what were they doing behind me in this moment? And then you'd be able to actually get more of the experience out of it. So to me, technology, that's a cool thing, I think, for the future, I think, to envision. You know, but then again, this is the real question. Does that event have as much meaning when you can go back and relive it?
So does
it hold the same weight? I don't know that it does.
I think what you're talking about is going to happen, and some people are going to think it's really cool. I have the opposite perspective.
Yep.
That there'll be people like me, and I may change my mind down the road. Right now, it's a big hard no.
Yeah.
People have asked me to put on their headset. No.
Yeah.
I'm not interested. Whether it's my anxiety, which is living in the future, negative.
Yeah.
That's worry. That's anxiety. Or regret, remorse. That's negative past.
Yeah.
It robs me of the now.
Yeah.
The only thing that ever is real, really real,
Yeah.
is right now.
Yeah.
Past is a thought, energy, and maybe it's a morphic field. There's some other things there. The future may not exist, or maybe it all exists at the same time. That's a whole nother conversation. I told my nephew this when he was not playing in the pool. We bugged him to come outside for 5 minutes 2 summers ago, I think it was. He was on his headset. And I just said, that's not the real world.
Yeah.
It's not. It's a world that somebody created, or a video grab of a series of images compressed so well that it looks like it's real,
Yeah.
but it's not. And I think too much of that, even if it's a good thing, is not a good thing. And just if people end up living there and always going back, then does it lose the specialness?
Yeah.
Like Christmas every day.
Yeah. Exactly.
What are you missing out on in the moment that you could be doing with someone that's important to you, or with something, or a thought idea, or a mission that's really important to you, because you're reliving some old emotions and feelings?
Another thing is, think about how much greater the past gets in a world where we don't have as much documentation of it. Those events always get greater, always glorified. You know what I mean? That you went out on Friday night, by Sunday, well, you're a legend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, so, and that's just 2 days, right?
Yeah.
You know, God knows what was changed. Over 2,000 years of scripture, right? But
I could see
that big
people missing loved ones and going
Yeah.
back and spending time with them. You
Yeah.
know, a father, a mother, a lost child, or something. And at the same time, you know, is that going to serve them?
You're not
Is
gonna
that serving them?
You're not going to be able to let go of it,
Right.
dude. You know, I tell you, it's funny.
Is it catabolic or anabolic?
It's like Goose's dog tags. You remember that? I was like watching that when I was a kid, and that taught me such a valuable lesson. When Maverick took the dog tags and he threw them in the water before he went to fly. My dad's like, I was like, Dad, why do you throw Goose's dog tags away? He's like, he had to let go of it, son. He had to let go of it. The only way he was going to go forward was to let go of it. So you're right. Maybe that wouldn't allow somebody to, to let go.
Just like hanging on to anger from the boomers getting us here to where we are today. Not that they did.
Yeah.
That's a story I bought into for a day, a week, or at some point in time, letting it go.
Yeah.
All right, we're here.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Let's face what's right in front of us. Let's not worry too much about, 10 years from now. We've got a bunch of stuff to get through right now.
I know.
And yet we take the lessons from the past. So they're just as important. It's just,
Man, well, speaking of letting go, I really don't want to let this conversation go, but I guess we're going to have to, unfortunately.
We're getting there. He's come by the door.
Oh, he has come by the door a couple times? All right. Then, we're getting that cue. He's going to hit us with the wrap it up box. For all you Chappelle fans out there, you don't want to get hit with the wrap it up box. No. All right. Well, hopefully some of this conversation today made some sense. I'm sure after we watch it back, it'll probably make less sense, or at least I'll make a lot less sense. Like, what the fuck was I saying?
It might be Billy Madison-esque.
I'm sure a lot of what I say is Billy Madison-esque.
It's not. It makes sense to me.
As long as it makes sense to you, Wayne.
It makes sense to me.
As long as it
I
makes sense.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, if nobody else gets anything out of this, I'm getting something out of it.
The same way. Fuck everybody else. I don't even care.
Fuck them.
I'm sure
I trust that somebody gets something out of it.
There's a lot of boomers out there like, yeah, fuck you all too. Yeah. No, seriously, we got love for the boomers.
And the Gen Xers, they tuned out after
we got love for the boomers.
Like, why am I even here?
We just don't have love for your leaders. The boomer leaders.
Our leaders. Our leaders.
I
voted for some of them, too.
They're our leaders, yeah. No, I did. No, but I voted for them.
I voted for some of them, too. And now I'm questioning it. As I do.
And I'm sure I questioned too much. Some of them are probably really good people that I've been, I've allowed my mind to hate on probably wrongfully. I probably shouldn't. Some people probably shouldn't, get the level of hate that I have for them.
Well, if we gave them some
really
grace.
Hate them. Actually, let me take that back. I don't hate anybody. I mean,
there's maybe some of the policies or decisions they've made.
Yeah, look.
And perhaps they can't help it. Perhaps they're the way they are because of their upbringing, because of the things that they've bought into.
Exactly.
It doesn't excuse the behavior. That doesn't make it right. It just explains it.
Well, that's a big topic we should focus on another episode too. Is unpacking the way people are, because I think if people would stop and start to unpack why somebody's the way they are, what makes them the way they are, then they can help learn and understand. Because we've all been shaped from some experience, whether it's yesterday's experience or our child experience. And I think if people focus more on unpacking the person, instead of their thoughts, but the only way you can do that is if you leave your hand open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Instead of closed.
Otherwise, you're punching.
Yeah, but yeah, I think we really should focus more on trying to, unpack the person than the thing that. And once we do that, then who knows, man? Like, I think it comes with a lot of self-acceptance too. You gotta accept your own faults. Until you accept your own faults, you're not going to accept somebody else's.
You got to forgive yourself before you can forgive and understand everybody else.
I mean, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect, because I am fucking not even close to it. I'm flawed like everybody else. But anyhow, let's get into some meditation so we can get out of here. Guys, I don't know wherever you are, wherever you may be listening. It's now time to enjoy a little Wayne Smith meditation here to lead us out into the world today. So, Wayne, take it away, brother.
I appreciate it, Matt. And if you've hung around this long and gotten anything out of it, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're driving and would like to join us, go ahead and pull over as you get comfortable, and the rest of us get comfortable here. Press that pause button if you need a minute. Otherwise, go ahead and relax that breath. Start to relax those shoulders. Get your feet flat on the ground if you can. Hands comfortable. Maybe folded in your lap. Laying on your knees, palm up in open receivership or palm down. Letting that energy come back into the body through the trunk. Just noticing the breath, slowing it down. If you can, breathing in and out through your nostrils. Some of us might have colds or some stuffiness from the time of year. And if you can't breathe out, your nostrils. Go ahead and do so out your mouth. And together we're going to take a couple of quick clearing breaths in our nostrils and out our mouth together. Extending the breath and the exhale with each one as we repeat. Back in. And out. Letting all that stress, tension, any negative energy still stored inside of us go with each exhale. Back in when you're ready. And now, do another one or two on your own, as many as you feel fit. Imagine you're walking down a path on a warm, sunny day. Not too warm, yet you feel the sun shining on the top of your head, on your shoulders, as you walk. Noticing the ground with each step that you take. The sounds of the birds and the bugs, the wind whistling through the leaves of the trees. Taking each step slowly and assuredly down the path, and you notice you're coming to a stream. And you decide to take a seat, to feel the warmth of the sun as you sit in silence, studying your breath as it comes in, nourishing you with each breath. And further relaxing you with each exhale. Feeling the breeze. Feeling the power of the energy around you, out in Mother Nature, out in the world. The field that connects us all. You sit and take in this moment, for this moment is yours. It's for you. Breathing in all that is good. And letting out anything that is unserving. As you take inventory of the energy in each inhalation, the softness of the body, yet the power within. And the exhalation of anything unserving. I invite you to bring your awareness and attention back to your body ever so slightly. Perhaps bringing awareness through wiggling your toes, your fingertips, or wetting your lips before any drastic movements or opening the eyes and letting light in. Take your time, for this moment is yours.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
It was cool, man. Right before I was on my way out, like kind of coming back in, probably like 30 seconds. I caught the owl from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Remember that little owl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I caught that little guy. Like popped up, and he came in and out. And, like I thought it was just like a quick vision, but he kept popping in and out. It was weird, dude. Like the owl from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Like, yeah. So hooty hoo, give him a shout out.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
like that.
it was wild. I don't know where he came from, but it was pretty serene. I mean, he was there. Like it was surreal, man. Like he was in there. Like I don't know
So
why. But
I don't know either. I appreciate you sharing that though, because if anybody is listening out there, and I trust that somebody is, this may speak to them and or allow at least the opportunity to share this, and that's that people have all kinds of different experiences. They may see something, they may not. They may
Yeah.
see colors or hear sounds or see some imagery. And a long time ago, somebody shared with me, go look it up. Go see what that means symbolically.
Yeah.
What's the symbolic meaning of a white hour? I don't know.
yeah,
And every time I do, I've been surprised, maybe not so surprised anymore, that I get a pretty profound answer or something. The meaning behind that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Given the space and place and time I am
yeah.
in that day.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
So yeah, I invite you to go
That's
do
wild.
so. I can't wait to hear more about it.
Yeah, that was gnarly. But all right, well, I guess yeah, I'm looking forward to more of these. You know, we're gonna have to talk about how to proceed from here. But yeah, hopefully you guys found that little meditation valuable, and we'll see you.
expand on
We'll
that
see you
some
soon.
more
Now
down the
we're
road.
gonna get yelled at by the principal for going over time.